experience when I went to Ethiopia with key members of Leadership of Africa. I met a Sudanese minister who was lamenting. He said, "You guys think that the greatest land in Africa is Congo. We have everything here that the Congo has, and fishes are rotting in our waters. We have very good rivers, we have the best forests you can find, we have gold, we have diamond, we have every mineral you are thinking about you have in Ghana. And yet, we are so poor. We are even asking the investors to come into our country, we are not seeing them." Now that defines who an African is and the land Africans are occupying. And it tells you, why are we poor when we have everything? The knowledge, capacity, intelligence, demonstrable knowledge to utilize what we have is what is lacking. And that's why I want to start by saying thank you, DTI, for your initiative before I start reading my speech. So it's a great pleasure and an honor to join you on this occasion of the 5th Annual National Precision Quality Conference organized by the Design and Technology Institute and partners. I thank the DTI for the invitation and commend them for their tireless commitment to advancing skills, knowledge, and productivity in Ghana. And I'm happy to share my thoughts on the theme improving labor productivity and enterprise competitiveness through a human capital development framework. Ladies and gentlemen, productivity, to my thinking, is a measure of our efficiency. It is the ability to produce more with the same or fewer resources. When our workforce is highly productive, our enterprises become more competitive on the global scale. They attract investments, they create better jobs, and they contribute to higher living standards for all. As a country, we have long recognized that our true wealth is not only in the minerals, in oil, in our gold, etc., but in the ingenuity, creativity, and resilience of our people. The challenge is clear. The global economy is a race, and we must run it with a well-trained and motivated workforce. To do this, we have developed and are actively implementing a comprehensive human capital development framework. Human capital is the foundation of all sustainable growth. As Aristotle once said, and has reminded us, that the roots, quotes, the roots of education are bitter, but the fruits is sweet, unquote. The task of building human capital is demanding, but the results are worth every effort. Ladies and gentlemen, the Human Capital Development Framework ensures that initiatives in agriculture, digitization, and vocational training are not isolated, but are part of a coherent national strategy. It sets out how Ghana will align skills development to enterprise competitiveness and how we will measure progress in terms of jobs created, productivity gains, and competitiveness achieved. Countries that have successfully transformed their economies, such as Singapore, South Korea, and Malaysia, for example, did so by investing heavily in human capital, just as Delhi was trying to bring out into our focus. They were not resource-rich, but invested in education, vocational skills, and technology adaptation. These investments created resilience and competitive economies, and Ghana can and must do same or better. We are laying the foundations, but we must now accelerate implementation with focus and discipline. The Ghana Apprenticeship Program and the Ghana Skill Development Initiatives are equipping tens of thousands of young people with market-ready skills. This would contribute to increasing productivity in enterprises. From small workshops to large industries, the Human Capital Development Framework builds on such initiatives by ensuring that they are scaled, better coordinated, and linked to measurable outcomes. But these political decisions will only make meaning if we can collaborate with organizations like DTI, encourage them strongly, work along with them to ensure that the capture of young people desiring to change their circumstances and to contribute to national development are properly captured. So our task is to ensure that Ghana's human capital strategy produces citizens who are innovative, adaptable, and capable of transforming their enterprises and communities. This is a proactive measure. It prevents unemployment before it happens. It gives our people the confidence to face challenge, to face change, knowing they have the ability to adapt. And this is also collective effort. It is not something the government can achieve alone. It requires the dedication of our industry leaders, our educational institutions, and every single citizen. We must all be part of this framework. We must commit to excellence and to progress. Let us build a nation where every individual's potential is a powerful driver of economic growth. And I must say, it's important at this stage to begin thinking about reshaping our curriculum in all the educational sectors to make sure that we focus the mind and thinking of our young Ghanaian into building and creating. And I agreed with the discussions out here that we need to make sure we start from the beginning and end at the top as a means of changing our approach to work. So now we are at a crossroad. We can choose to be reactive or proactive. We can choose to be left alone and left behind, or to lead. And I'm confident that together we will choose to lead. Let us commit a future where capital is not a slogan, but a driving force of national development. Capital can drive change. Thank you.